Hello, everybody. Welcome to TechLunch. If you didn't grab food yet, you can, and we will get started soon. So please have a seat. We have some in the front. So welcome again. And so my name is José Paul. I'm software engineer here at Algolia in the Search and NLP squad. And basically what we do is we implement everything that is language specific. So just a quick question. Who is coming for the first time here at Algolia? Okay. And who is coming for the first time at the TechLunch? Okay, nice. Welcome, everyone. So TechLunch is an event we have here at Algolia every 6 weeks. And basically, we have lunch, obviously, and we have free speakers. We have free tech talks. And if you want to tweet about the event, you can use the TechLunch hashtag. Quick intro about Algolia. So what we do here is we implement a search API, so it's our main project, and it's software as a service. And this service helps business having great, relevant, and blazing fast search for their platform. And so we have thousands of customers, and some of them are, e-commerce, like Birchbox or Lacoste. We have services like platforms like Twitch, which is a live streaming platform, and also tech platforms like Stripe. So our three speakers for today are Olivier Garcia. So Olivier Garcia is an engineering manager at Algolia, and among his work of team management is also creating tools for our engineering track, and also improving ways to share knowledge and skills at Algolia. So his talk will be about the difference between a mentor and a coach and a sponsor. Our second speaker is Agathe Bego. She is software engineer at KissKissBankBank. She is founder of Women on Rails. So Women on Rails is a non-profit organization which aims to teach Ruby on Rails to women. And she's going to share her experience being a mentor. And at last, we'll have Nicola Mary O'Donovan. She started her career as a software engineer, and she's now an agile coach at BlaBlaCar. And she's going to share her experience being a mentor, but also a mentee. So let's get started with Olivier, and let's give him a warm welcome on stage, please.
Okay. Hello everyone. So my name is Olivier. I'm engineering manager of the e-commerce integration team at Algolia. Fun fact, exactly a year ago, I was where you are seated, and a few days later I was applying to Algolia. That's the magic of the TechLunch. So why are we having this talk? It's because one of the biggest challenges startups can face, talent. You may think about the fact that we are looking for acquiring new people, hiring. It's not that lonely, because when you are able to hire people, top players, those bright minds will come to your company, as they will want to deliver good stuff, quality code, inspired documents. They will want to be impactful. They will want to ramp up from senior to junior. They will want to have new skills, be involved in bigger projects. They will also want to shine, that is getting the praise, the credit for their work, and get the spotlight. It is the role of the leadership, of the management, to create a context, an environment that gives new people those tools. So it's ultra important to me. If you are in management, be sure to give your people the way to deliver, to grow, and to shine. We started some stuff in that regard. For instance, we have the TechLunch every 6 weeks. We also have show and tell. It's a weekly event where people can come, 2% at a time, explaining what they are doing and what are they finding or their new creations. We also have a buddy system whenever I hired at Algolia for a few weeks. We have an awesome education team that is creating content and videos. So I don't know if Thomas and Raphael are in the room. Yeah, you rock. Thank you. And we are thinking about creating a mentoring and coaching program. It's early stage. Right now we are thinking about what it means. We saw it's working elsewhere. So 70% of the Fortune 500 companies have some sort of program, like mentorship or coaching. The idea is to gain from those programs a way to give people a way to improve either personally or professionally. Could be soft skills, hard skills, stuff like that. We expect problems to be solved more quickly. We also, and that's ultra important for a company like us, to nurture a company of a culture of learning and exchanges. And the idea is that with people being more happier, they will stay longer within Algolia. So we had several events within Algolia, workshop notably, to try to identify what would be the different roles and what are the expectations from those roles. So the first one, it will be the coach. There are several definitions of coach to us. It's someone that could look at what you are doing and how you practice your thing and give you actionable advice on how to improve. You also have coach that will help you deliver something through a specific goal. It could be winning the World Cup. It could be finding, through a creative process, finding new ideas for your project. That's what we identify as coach. So better move, better collaboration, better code. Yeah, that's it. This one is like a map of mentorship relation between CEO within the valley. What is interesting here is that you have bright minds that were able to say, okay, I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to rely on someone that is more experienced than me to get that knowledge and to get some help. They have relationship for years, and you can see that, like Mark, is relying on several mentors at the same time for specific subjects. He was relying on the creator of Napster to get insight on how to create a tech platform, and we know that he used McNamee knowledge to have a successful business. So yeah, you could picture Bill Gates asking Warren Buffett about how do I make my errors more pretty, and you will say maybe I want blue errors, and that's why we get blue screens. Sponsorship is something you could use the word advocacy for that. It's really about giving names of people you want them to have the spotlight in an important meeting or if you want them to get promoted. It's not only that. In addition to that kind of advocacy, you can propose them to work with you on a project that you are on. You can also suggest to be a speaker at a conference. It's about to make someone known and to make room for that person. So to summarize, what the definition we put on mentor would be someone that gives perspective and advice based on experience, like can remove problems that wasn't foreseen, personal team growing. While coach will be someone who you see quite regularly toward a specific goal to get better and or get new ideas. A sponsor is someone that advocates, create opportunity, and give the light. You can say, what about managers? And when I say manager, is any kind on N+1. It could be your tech lead, it could be your CTO, engineering managers. They should do that kind of things to some extent. Your tech leads may be a good coach for you to get better at JavaScript or anything else. If in the end you don't have regular meetings with your manager about growing, let's say, you should take a browser and see if grass is greener on the other sides. Now that we know the roles and the difference between them, what we expect from good persons would be those things. So a good mentor is definitely someone that is able to be great at listening, ask questions, is able to follow the string to understand what are the details between the story that his mentee is giving. That person should give a safe harbor, meaning that mentor should be able to keep the conversation private. If you have to vent about your manager or coworkers, that should be the place, and you know that what will be said will stay within that room. Mentor should be interested in unseen situation because they will have to do a lot of lateral seeking to help their mentee get options, and they should not choose instead of their mentee. It's the mentee that has to find the right option, and they should let go the fact that it's not them that will choose. Good coach should definitely define goals beforehand. That is when you know that you will follow someone for a 2-month session, let's say again the example of JavaScript, you will have to identify the subject you will put within that sessions. You will have to prepare each sessions with exercise, ideas, don't come empty-handed. When you are coaching someone, you have to be mindful of the strengths and the weakness of that person because you will have to uplift them and not to push them too hard. Finally, if it's not working, coach should be able to proactively come back to their coachee and give good ideas of what could be alternate ways to get better. Sponsors. Sponsors should think in advance of the opportunities where they could push a name. So whenever they have a meeting with exec or with people that are organizing meetups like TechLunch, they should say, hey, I know Julie, she's organizing TechLunch, so maybe I will be able to push a name to her the next time. Regularly, they should think about all the person around them to identify the one that deserve to be within the light. Before they push a name, it's important to ensure that the person that will be pushed accept that light. If that person is not willing to be on stage or to be known for something that person is creating, it's not a good thing. You have to ask before. Finally, can start small. You can be within a TechLunch and give a few names within the presentation itself to do some sponsorship. If you are going to be a coachee or mentoree or you have to do your homework. You don't expect the other people to do it for you. When you go to a mentor or a coach, you will do 80% of the work. They will be only you to create the room for you to be better. And you have to ask a lot of questions. Be curious. Prepare your questions before the meetings. Of course, you have to be open-minded and committed to change. Having some time to reflect on yourself and be able to do introspection is something very important. And good change takes time. It's like with cooking. If it's good, it took time to be prepared. Value the time the mentor and the coach will take to give you input. That's important too. Where to find mentors? You already have a network. I'm thinking everybody here is on LinkedIn. You already have a network of people that could give you some ideas on how to improve or stuff like that. You have persons within the company, and I'm not talking only within your current branch. If you are in IT, you could go to people that are in sales or in marketing to get insight on how to get promoted or get more spotlight. You could ask for people that are known to be within the field in conferences. And you could find, maybe you could have some role models that you are following on Twitter. Let's ask. You could ask for those people through Twitter. It doesn't have to be formal. It's not mandatory to go to someone and say, hey, do you want to be my mentor? You can start small with a small question. I'm having trouble with that situation. Could you help me? Later, it can be formalized, but it doesn't have to be formal at the beginning. If you are looking for getting a mentor, do know that usually you are looking for people that has the same gender, belief, or school than you. The main part of mentoring is getting a new perspective. So if you like microservices and you are finding a mentor that is also a big fan of microservices, it may be not the good thing to do. And that's it. Thank you. We have time for questions.
Questions? No questions?
I'm paid only if I get questions, please. I have a kid to feed? Yes, a question there, thank you.
Good. Where? Okay, I'm gonna send it to you, so please speak in the mic.
Hi, thank you for your talk. You said on the last slide to look for people with different characteristics.
Yes,
not somebody too similar. But I would say if I'm looking for someone who already has a similar experience or would give me good insights, I would probably go, for example, with a woman. Not saying all men are bad, but they might not have had the same hardship, and a woman might have the same problems that I would have.
Yeah, I get that. First, you are not required to have only one mentor. You could have several of them. You could definitely look for someone that has some experience in the field that you are in. So yes, if you want to, you could look for someone that has some of the characteristics. What I suggest to you is that do not look for a clone of yourself. That's just it. Okay. We good? No more questions? Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Quick question. I was wondering, do you have any mentors yourself, and where did you get them?
It was my previous manager. One of my previous managers, which was really inspiring. So I kept communicating with him, and here we were. Yeah.
You're still in touch?
Yes.
today?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Amazing.
I am.
Like.
Oh, behind you.
Hi. You talked about how to find a mentor. Do you have any advice for being a mentor?
For what? For beginning?
Being a mentor to someone else?
I would expect that to be natural. If you are someone seen as a good person in your field, I expect that mentee will come to you naturally. I think that my colleagues have slides on that and maybe more, may have more content. But yeah, my first thinking will be about if you are a good engineer or a good manager, they will come eventually. And we had one last question here.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm ready. Thank you.
Good catch. Good
Yeah,
catch.
good throw. So I had a question. It's great to hear about all that. Is there any particular way in which you try to incentivize this mindset at Algolia? Like to incentivize people to ask and request and offer mentoring?
Not yet. So we are really at the beginning of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
What we are planning to do is to find a few people that will be beta tester in a way of the service. We don't even have formal KPIs to identify if the program is a success or not. But yeah, in the end, we'll have to something to Actually, we have a career track that is defining what are the expectations for each kind of persons, like junior developer versus senior, and there is already some sense of you have to help more junior people in it. It's not written mentoring, but coach, yes. So yes, there is a way, but not about the mentoring and coaching program itself.
Okay.
Are we good?
All good.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivier. Many thanks. So the next speaker is Agathe Bego from KissKissBankBank. Sorry. Okay, please welcome Agathe on stage. Thank you.
Thanks. What about now? Yeah. Cool. Hello, everyone. So, my name is Agathe Bego, and I am a lead developer at KissKissBankBank, which is a French crowdfunding company based in Paris. Today, I'll discuss with you about mentoring and what it is about in my mentor's eyes. A part of my job, I was also the co-founder of an organization called Women on Rails with Sonia Prévost and Lisa Durand during 3 years. We created it after a global event called Rails Girls, after noticing the difficulty for women to find a caring environment to talk and learn about development. But what the hell is Women on Rails? It's an organization who aims to promote diversity in the professional environment of IT by offering women trainings, community, and visibility through workshops. And who took part of it? Especially learners were always women and people growing out of the visible majority of the tech environment. And how was it going? We have experienced different formats, such as mixed mentors compared to only women mentors, or every week compared to every month. I'm gonna talk about some questions made during these last years, like what is mentoring in a tech environment? Why mentoring? How to mentor? When to mentor? And where to mentor? Let's talk about the first main question. What is being a mentor? According to Wikipedia, it's an experienced, caring, wise advisor which we fully trust. According to my experience, it's more someone who supports learning by sharing his knowledge and his network with kindness. Okay, being a mentor seems cool on the paper. But what did that bring to me? Let's see the perks of it. First of all, being a mentor helped me to consolidate my basic knowledge, because explaining to people made me understand deeply concepts as I had to adapt and never explain the same way. Concretely, this helps me gain confidence in my skills. Second point, mentoring helps me progress. A learner will ask things about knowledge you don't have and will need to learn. For instance, I had the opportunity to help someone who wanted to apply to Algolia. We took time to understand a piece of the API and debug a Python code. In my side, that enabled me to put my hands in Python and discover the API. And in her side, I guess it helped her too, as she has been recruited a few months later. Third point. Mentoring is learning to explain and share with different people. I often had to adapt my communication, my wikis, and my code to be more open to different publics. That also helped me to learn to delegate, as a learner can better write than me wikis with its learning ISs. Previously, we talked about trust. Mentoring gave me the chance to be closer to people I have helped. It has allowed me to meet new kind of people, not only coming from my close social circle. And with this experience, I can say that a richer social circle means a richer product, richer logics, by allowing to see more aspects of a problem. In the same line, but more generally, mentoring people helps to enrich the community diversity. On my side, that improved the quality of the common ID in the teams where I was and increased the number of new colleagues. And last but not least, mentoring gives another sense to the work. It puts back the human in the heart of the professional environment. For instance, I've been able to help people who wanted to apply for a new job, people who wanted to reorient to a more tech position, and even people who came back from a long sick leave and needed to regain confidence. So mentoring seems to be more and more cool and fun and rewarding. But now that I may have convinced some of you, how can you start the journey? Let's give you some tips. The most important thing is being patient. When mentoring someone, we have to keep in mind that this person does not have the same background as we have. They will need time to learn. So be patient, be gentle, and do not get frustrated if someone does not get the point. Be also sure to be available while leaving the learner time to learn. Learner needs also to be autonomous to ask questions and to learn. So the big issue is to keep in mind the final goal. Mentee wants to learn and being autonomous. As a mentor, I try to never touch the keyboard of someone else and try to avoid showing only things people will copy automatically. By the way, there is a nice quote from Benjamin Franklin about this. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. Keep this in mind. Same logic here. Instead of doing lectures, it is better to listen and exchange with people. As a mentor, I like to ask questions. So I can ask questions to make people understand a mistake or orient them to a solution they will find by themselves, instead of telling them directly the solution. During the workshop we had with different publics, it happens that the explanation given to a subject was not convincing, was not working. So in this case, it is cool to find another way to say it, to explain it. And sometimes, when learning, people lose motivation or hope. So as a mentor, do not hesitate to recall the progress made to fuel the desire to learn. And in the same line, prefer noticing skills instead of always pointing flaws. Well, we have seen that what is and how being a mentor. Now, I will share with you some tools we use during the workshops of Women on Rails and at work to create an environment conducive to mentoring. We have set up, for instance, code reviews, which aims to review someone else's code, which helps to discover new ways to program and improve code quality. We also have set up some retrospectives to help understand what have been good, what we could change. We also did some pair programming, which is where two developers work using only one machine. It's an effective way to share knowledge and improve communication. We did as well code sessions, which helps to focus and open the possibility of the questions. And we finally did some workshops to work together and learn about a common topic. In my mind, I also keep the idea to continue learning, to give references and understand learning problematics. In a word, I still consider myself as a learner. To do this, I can follow some new tutorials, try to help on an existing project I like, launch a project if I have an idea, whenever the project is, or wherever the project is, do day-long practice events called code retreats, and also do katas. Katas, it's exercise in programming, which helps improve skills through practice and repetitions. So, next question is, where to mentor? I had personally had to mentor in the companies I worked for at least 3 reasons. For junior onboarding, to avoid them being lost when starting, to enforce a team and integrate different profiles and skills, even if they are technical or for the business. And I had to mentor to share skills and thereby avoid the loss of skills when someone leaves or is on holidays. Mentors can also take part of workshops. I think it's time to drink a bit. Mentors can also, as I said, take part of workshops, such as workshops for minorities to diversify the tech community. There are, by the way, a lot of dedicated meetups to help diversity in the tech community, such as Rails Girls, Ladies of Code, Duchess, and coding dojos, for instance. And we can do workshops for non-techs as well to help them better communicate with tech teams. Everyone can also be mentor online to participate even from apart. There are some tools like Slacks, forums, and learning platforms. About learning platforms, you have, for instance, exercise.io for development. There is even a hashtag for that on Twitter called Mentoring Monday. That helps to avoid mainly ethnocentrism. What is ethnocentrism? It is seeing the world and its diversity through the privileged prism of excluding ideas, interests, and archetypes of your origin community without any constructive and critical look. In a word, being mentor helps being able to understand and to place yourself in someone else's shoes who does not have the same knowledge, background, and life as you. So, we come to the last big question: when to mentor? Guess what? There is no good time to begin. It is whenever and in any level. Don't wait to be a senior to someone else's eyes. You can be mentor whenever in your career. My co-founder, for instance, were reorienting when they began to mentor people. As we learn in your work, we have always more experience than someone else in something. That's all for me. This talk is freely inspired from a talk from Sonia Prévost, my co-founder, and I hope this talk would have given you the wish to begin mentoring. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Agathe. Do we have any question? Please.
I love questions, as I said.
So we lost the little box. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I have a question. How did you become a mentor?
I think the last presenter told it right. I mean, you begin by small things. You begin to explain something very, very small to someone because you have the knowledge and the person does not have it. And you feel like you can transmit this thing to the person. And after you try to begin with a bigger concept, or you continue with maybe a presentation, a talk, or after that you can organize a workshop, a small workshop in your company to try to transmit something to your colleagues. It's like that. It's a train you can continue to follow.
Since when you can tell yourself that you are a mentor? Or is it a job position?
In my mind, everybody is a mentor, so it's quite complicated to explain. But I may say that it's since I think about this that I have been a mentor.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question? Yep. Very far. Ooh la la.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was just wondering, what was your best experience as a mentor?
My best experience was with someone who were, as I said before, quite sick and wanting to go back to work. And I learned in the same time as her because we began to be very close, and she learned me a lot about people, about strongness, and I tried to help her and to give her some knowledge and my network. And yeah, it was my best experience.
Another one? Can you send back the mic, please? Yeah, just here.
Yes, hi. Two questions.
Yeah.
The example that you've exhibited was about coding. So do you see mentoring more about hard skills like coding, or could it apply to soft skills? So, and second question is, do you see the mentorship as a transient and limited time during the limited time, and hence do you keep in touch with the people that you mentored, let's say 3 years, 4 years later?
Yes, of course, mentoring can be applied to any domain, even if it's not tech, even if it's not hard technology, because it's being human, in fact. Also, I try to keep in touch with all the persons I have mentored. If it's working, it's cool. If it's not a big issue, because I have given them things, and they also have given me things, and life is life, so we continue. But yeah, definitely when I am close to someone, I try to keep in touch very far.
Thank you, Agathe. So we need to move to the next presentation.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Nicolas Mary. And please, let's give a warm welcome on stage.
Yes. Hello? Okay. Oh, and Julie, to play the video. So and to play the video, I can do this. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm here today to talk about my experiences of finding and being a mentor. My name is Nicola Marie. I'm Irish. I'm an agile coach, and I work in BlaBlaCar here in Paris for nearly 3 years. I have learned a lot about mentoring throughout my career. It began when I was hired in my first role as a telecommunications software engineer in Motorola. On day one, I was assigned an official work mentor, a senior engineer with the same work title as I had. I found this a very value-adding experience, as I had someone I could go to with technical questions and ideas. Because of this experience, I thought having an in-work mentor was a normal experience. But as I progressed through my career and worked in 6 different countries, I soon learned that this was not the case. During this time, I developed my interests in training, coaching, and mentoring in and outside the work environment. More and more, I could see the value of a mentor outside of the work environment to develop your career and your skills, not just job focused. As a result of this, I received different invitations. I received an invitation to be a Women in Tech mentor at the Web Summit. We could choose a track to mentor in. I choose the Grow track, because I was interested and think it's very important to give your time to graduates and students. But I was pleasantly surprised that the majority of people that applied to speak with me were women who wished to change direction in their career or progress. So I have to confess now, I'm very nervous. But that's okay, because I, in fact, have a mentor who can help me with this. Let me introduce her. This is Professor Yvonne Buckley. She's head of zoology in Trinity College Dublin, Ireland's top school. Before asking someone to be my mentor, I had to identify the skills that I wished to improve. For me, that was public speaking and writing and publishing articles. Yvonne has a very impressive list of accolades. She is head of the Irish Research Council, she's a laureate, chair of the Irish National Biodiversity Forum, president of the Irish Ecological Association, and a highly cited researcher. It is all a bit intimidating, but underneath all this, she is a very kind and approachable person. I will now go through the steps that I took to connect with Yvonne. So as I said, first I think it's most important that you identify the skills that you wish to develop. If you're asking a very busy person for their time, you need to be clear on what you wish to progress on. I think then, for me, I searched my personal and professional network for someone to match these skills. It is possible to connect with an unknown person, but it's just more difficult. The next step, while small, reach out and be brave. You need to ask the person to be your mentor. This can be very difficult. As I say, I know Yvonne is a very busy person and all her accolades are intimidating. But once I took that step, we were connected. So with Yvonne, we have a peer mentoring relationship. This means that we have a balanced mentee-mentor relationship. We learn from each other. So how does that work? We set an hour time slot once a month. We really time box this event. We each take half an hour of this time to come with a question or a discussion point. We follow up throughout the month with emails, more video conferences, whatever it takes to achieve our goals. It's very important when embarking on a mentoring relationship to ensure that you have the time and the commitment and the dedication, because you're committing to help someone and you're committing to follow up on their advice. So a surprise outcome for me for the mentoring process was confidence. And I had the confidence to push out of my comfort zone, for example, to come and talk here today. And why is that? On reflection, it's because someone I admire and respect, such as Yvonne, give you positive feedback. And this was the unexpected outcome for me. More concrete outcomes of this confidence allowed me to become more active in the community, to write and publish articles, write conference proposals, and speak at European conferences. Now we'll hear from Yvonne and what she found is. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry.
Hi, my name's Yvonne Buckley.
Yeah, thanks.
So when Nicola asked me to be a peer mentor with her,
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
we have the same issue. I was really excited by the idea of having a mentor outside of my industry. So I've been a mentor and a mentee before, but always with people within academia. And because of Nicola's background in agile project management, I was particularly interested in picking her brains and learning from her on aspects of workload management and project management. So as an academic, I don't have much formal training in complex project management and workflow design. And those are aspects of that I've seen over the past year that have really improved through talking to Nicola and having her tips and advice. I've also really enjoyed the peer mentoring relationship because we both get something out of it. And that makes it a much more sustainable mentoring relationship. I think if it's a very one-way relationship, it can be unsustainable. It won't last because one partner is getting more than the other. So I think that's really important. I also think that getting somebody from outside of your field or your industry to act as a peer mentor can really add strength. That level of diversity is really important. You can find new ways of doing things and be innovative if you're getting ideas from somebody with a completely different mindset or with a different skill set. And I've seen this in my own work. I've seen how I can actually cascade that learning to my research group. So for example, in the last 6 months, since starting the peer mentoring with Nicola, we started a collaborative computer coding project, which was not something we'd done before. And the skills again and the workflows that we've discovered through working with Nicola have been really important for helping us to do that. So I'm hoping to take a lot of this advice and new ways of working forward into the next projects that I'm going to do.
So thanks to Yvonne for taking the time to do that.
Hi, my name's Yvonne Buckley.
Okay. This video is causing trouble. Sorry, stuck. I just went with the last slide. Okay, sorry. Thank you. I'll tell Yvonne she was up on the video all day. Okay. Thanks, Julie. Yeah, that's okay, yeah. So what are your next steps after leaving here today? I think it's really important to speak about mentoring openly. Speaking about something normalizes it. And then people will know you're available to be a mentor or interested in being a mentee. I think it's important to remove mental barriers around age, gender, industry, and experience. We all have something to learn and share. I think it's important to actively work to connect people. Even if at that moment you don't see someone that can be a good mentor for you, but you see a match in your professional or personal networks, go ahead and propose that those people work together. And for me, it's your responsibility to grow and progress in your career. Don't just leave this responsibility in the workplace. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, we have time for 2 or 3 questions. Maybe. Okay. Can you send it? Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the great presentation. I'm curious, what would be your advice? This idea of, you all hear me well? This idea of peer mentorship seems very seductive for the reason you say that both sides get something out of it. But following up on Olivier's advice of finding mentors in your own network, I guess it gets harder if you try to find someone that could be a peer from a different industry or different perspective. What would be your advice on connecting with such other side of the road?
Yes, I think my advice is not to get stuck on the idea that you must have one type of mentor right now. I've had different mentors throughout my career, and I did not start with a peer mentor. I think a peer mentor can be something as you progress in your career. So for me, it's really what I said, to think about the skills you want to improve. And if in your network you see somebody that they would like to share skills with you, because in fact when I asked Yvonne first to be my mentor, she then proposed, said, oh, I can learn so much from you. But because I take her in such high regard, I didn't think that that's something she would find value adding. So these things can be unexpected. But really, my advice is to focus on what you want to learn and to connect with someone. And then, that you can offer, see what you have to offer then.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Another one? Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So you're currently coach at BlaBlaCar.
Yes.
Do you propose at BlaBlaCar to be a mentor, or do you have like a mentorship program, something like that?
We don't have formal ones, but we promote sharing and learning all the time. We have share and learns. We have a mentor program, but it's more when someone comes into the company, so it doesn't necessarily have to be in your work domain. So we call it the buddy system more than mentorship, but then they know they can come to you for advice on any topic. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Last one? No?
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Nicolas. So thank you for attending this Tech Lunch. You're going to receive an email. Next Tech Lunch is in 6 weeks, and we don't have any topics yet. So feel free to send us ideas. Yes, thank you again. And let's give a warm ring of applause to all the speakers.